Welcome to members. It's November the 27th. This is the members update, members only. Please watch the market overview, the separate video to this that goes with it, for the overall direction of the market. So let's dive in straight into members stuff. The Make My Millionaire trades as per last week. I haven't got one in right now. A fair amount of uncertainty around actually regarding the markets and a lot of confusion, and we need a lot more clarity and less volatility for that. But definitely keeping an eye out. When I see all the ducks in a row, and I mean all the ducks in a row, then there'll be one of those trades there. If it may only be that there's they only come along every so often, and I bet that when they do come along, there'll be more than one to choose from. Overall market conditions in terms of shorting the market, as per my overall market overview video, definitely not the time right now. We're in the market's got a head of steam on it right now, waiting for that to settle down and maybe the January hangover. But one thing I will add to this so-called Trump rally, as I've said last week, is on very, very thin ice. It's getting a lot of criticism from the people who look at fundamentals, not the charts, which is nothing normal. Markets can stay irrational for a lot longer than people think. But it really is quite silly, actually. And not that we're going to get in the way of a speeding train. That's because the charts are definitely saying bullish things. But what this Trump rally is doing is it's making the US dollar a lot stronger, and like a lot stronger, and that is what's upset the price of gold. Gold and the dollar move inversely to each other, and the price of gold has been going down purely because really of dollar strength, which is upsetting all kinds of markets, particularly emerging markets. You simply cannot have a strong dollar going nuts like that without some kind of repercussion in the fragile currency and economic marketplace that exists in the world today. So it's headed for trouble. Having said that, we have got some trades on and working quite well. As we've got the FXY, this one was 2 weeks ago when I said that it's a nice shorting position here, just below the 200-day moving average, and it's headed down ever since, about 500 points or so in profit there. Now it's time to lower my stop loss to lock in some profits. It's gone down a long way. I'm gonna put up 86 here. I don't want to lose all those gains. I'm gonna make 86 my stop loss now to lock in those gains there. What's interesting is that despite gold and gold miners, not looking that great right now, as we see, this is the index of all the gold miners. At least the gold miners are kind of consolidating. But the one trade I had on a few weeks ago now that I told you about, Royal Gold, has held up above its 200-day line, as we see here, which is why I'm still in that trade. Every other gold miner that I know of has had its stop loss triggered, but this one has hung in there. I wouldn't buy it as a new one now because the rest of the gold patch isn't looking as good. Interesting how this one has stayed in there and the trade is still alive with its stop loss just down here around sort of 64ish. So it turns out that was a decent pick. Amazon, I also mentioned Amazon I think 2 weeks ago about how I was looking for this to come down close in this area here, get close enough to the rising 200-day there before getting in there and bounce and trying to on that bounce there, and sure enough, there it goes off of Amazon. And what else was there? There was also CS. Let's look at that. This one hasn't taken off just yet, but there's nothing wrong with its action so far. As long as this one's above its 200-day, the red line there, I'm happy. But I still think this is a financial. Financials have been doing great, and it's got a hell of a lot of upside, this one, if it can get going. That one's fine. I gave a list of things I was looking to get into last week if they came down a bit lower. One of those was CF. CF Industries. Last Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday. It looks like Tuesday. It came down here like that, and that kind of got into my sort of buying range. I was happy to get into at that level, if not the next day. So I think this allowed an entry point. I was looking around 27, 28-ish, let it settle down a bit. So that's great. I'm in that one now. My stop loss, and it's not a bad level right now. This is fine around this area here. In fact, as long as it's just above this 200-day at 27, I'm fine. Anything closed below that around 26, and I'll be out. Again, big upside there. Now let's look at something new I'd like to get into, once again on the infrastructure, stroke energy, stroke financial plays, which kind of taps into this whole Trump rally thing. And it's Seadrill. Let's look at the weekly chart for this, because that really shows the upside potential here. First of all, we see when I'm looking at stocks like this, and this particular thing, these kind of big comeback plays, look how it respected its 40-week moving average. When it got below it stayed below it, and that was a very shortable stock because of this. It allowed some low risk entry points like there and there. By the same token, it's come a long way down, as you can see, like $37 up here, and it's now down to like $2.60. And most of all, the 40-week average is leveling off, maybe even starting to rise a little bit, and we're seeing a pickup in buying volume here and here. So if that can just get above the 200-day, 40-week moving average there, then that's a nice low-risk entry point with a huge upside playing right into the energy infrastructure play. So let's look at the daily chart, a bit more detail. As you can see, this is a huge company. It's become a penny stock. So there's the moving average. I've got my alert set actually for around, let me know when it gets above 2.8, 2.9, so my radar goes up then. I want the price to close above this moving average, ideally on high volume. And the stop loss then, like that CS one, will be in CF, actually will be below the 200-day. But it has to close above it, okay? So yeah, I'm quite excited about that one, if it will just let me in. You also see a double bottom here, bounce like that, but I don't want to get in here and then it has another bounce and comes down there and stops me out. So I want to see some decisive action above there. So that's all for this week. There's plenty going on, plenty to keep us busy, and nice profits kind of hopefully continue to come in there, and I'll speak to you next time.